appropriate.
College General Committee meeting to order Tuesday, February the 11th, 2014. We'll open with a prayer. Superintendent Boche.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to provide positive learning experiences for our children. We ask you walk with our teachers and students in the coming weeks, giving them the patience and perseverance they both need to be successful in their classrooms. Be with those who may be struggling for either academic or personal reasons, and help us to be mindful of the fact that our jobs are to teach the whole child. We are burdened by the fact that so many have such great needs, but we are grateful that you make us mindful of our abilities to make a difference. These things we pray in your name.
Amen.
Mr. Warren, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Superintendent Boche, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Acevedo?
Here.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mrs. Tefada?
Here.
Mr. Egan?
Here.
Mr. England?
Here.
Mrs. Dysart? Here. Dr. Kraft? Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Dr. Lewis? Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Koshin?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here. At this time, yes.
If I could have a point of privilege, please. At this time, I would like to ask the board to take a moment of silence for the recent passing of retired Judge Manny Fernandez. Manny was not only a retired judge, but also served as a legislator. He was an elected official here for many years, and he was always a very pro-public education mover, and it was always very responsive to educational needs in St. Bernard Parish. And a graduate of St. Bernard, proud graduate of St. Bernard High School. So we'd like to send our condolences and our sympathies to the Fernandez family, and to thank him for all of his years of being a friend to all of us. A moment, please, of silence.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Dysart, for bringing that to
Thank you.
our attention. Mr. Judge Fernandez was a very community-oriented individual, and I remember back in the days of his legislative deals representing his community, he was always responsive to the educational needs. If we had bills, he would happily promote and sponsor those in the Louisiana legislature. He will be missed. The committee assignments, let's see, did you pass those out to? Oh, they're coming around. Okay. Okay, we'll take a look at these, and we have the one asterisk by your name is those serving or chairing on the odd number of months, and the even number of months would be these two asterisks. So we will move ahead now and ask Ms. Dysart to do this one on the February meeting. Ms. Dysart.
Thank you, Dr. Kraft. The first item on the agenda for the Education Committee is the high school diplomas, pathways, and Jump Start program. And good evening, Ms. Larson.
Good evening. We wanted to come before the board this evening and give you the opportunity to become aware of some of the changes that are coming down the pike for us and our students from the State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, because over the next couple of weeks they're going to be looking at recommendations from the State Department of Education regarding changes in the diploma tracks for our high school students. You may recall that right now there are 3 diploma tracks: a career diploma, a basic diploma, and for each of those, students need to take approximately 7 courses that are related and tied to a career major. And then the Core 4, which is primarily for the college-bound and ties somewhat to the TOPS program. Well, those 3 will become 2 over time, and by 2017, 2018, our students will be able to achieve one of 2 diplomas, either a career diploma, which entails regional employment credentials, where all of the partners come to the table, meaning Nunez and Delgado, our technical colleges, our tradesmen, business and industry, the surrounding parishes, and define what are good employable possibilities for our students, and make recommendations for training for our students that will lead to employment credentials, industry-based certifications, technical diplomas, technical competency certificates, those kinds of validation that they can get either through testing or through coursework at our technical schools. And that will offer them a career diploma. And if you look on pages 2 and 3, you can see that the graduation requirements are changing for our students who would be pursuing a career diploma. For example, Core 4 right now looks for the student, or requires a student rather, to take 4 Englishes, 4 maths, 4 sciences, 4 social studies, mirroring the top program and getting ready to go on to college. The career diploma that is being proposed looks for 4 Englishes, English 1 and English 2, and then 2 Englishes that might apply either to the career that the student is pursuing, as in an applied English, or, for example, technical writing, or business English, or Englishes that will be a little bit more aligned to the career pathway that the student is following. 4 maths, and you can see there also that some applied math, financial math would be acceptable credits within the math area. 2 units in science, which differs from our current career diploma, which requires 3, and 2 units in social studies, which again differs from our current career diploma, which requires 3 units. So that's an outline, continuing on the second page, of the course requirements that students will have to take for a career diploma, of course the PE and health. And then on the 4th and final page, just for your reference, you can take a look at the types of schedule a student might have if they are pursuing a career diploma, or even a student who pursues Core 4 but takes a career identified pathway as part of his Core 4. And you can look at that and see a sample of what a student's schedule might look like in the future. Then the second diploma is, of course, the Core 4 that we're all familiar with. So students will be able to pursue one of those 2 diplomas. The State Department is calling it a Jump Start program, which is indicative of the students getting a jump start in a career pathway. It's what works for career-bound students in this region. For example, the process technology with all of the refineries around us, or maybe some of the medical fields, the certified nurse assistant or practical nursing or EMT. Those are careers we know that students can pursue outside of high school and find jobs in this region currently. So those might be Jumpstart regional credentials that our students can pursue. It's tied into the Workforce Investment Act and the committee that sits down and studies employment trends in our area and helps make recommendations to us about what students should be pursuing in order to be employable after high school. And again, as I said to you, it might lead to a technical diploma from Nunez, or an advanced credential, or a TCC, or some other type of validation that they have the skills to become employable. Ideally, a student might go to Chalmette High the first year, the second year, and maybe part of the third year, and get all of their requirements listed on pages 2 and 3 out of the way, but then spend the second half of their junior year, or maybe their whole junior year, and their senior year at the technical school or tied up in an apprenticeship with one of the trades. And those are the types of regional activities that we will all be working with in the next years to define for our students so that we will be able to offer them these career pathways. There is a pilot underway right now. Plaquemine Parish has 8 students, Jefferson has 8, and we have 8 involved in the process technology program at Nunez, hoping to get these juniors a sufficient credential by the time they graduate that they will be able to find employment opportunities at some of the refineries or some of the industries that surround our area. As far as state testing is concerned, the students will still need to take the end-of-course exams. They still need to take the ACT, which is part of the accountability program for the high school. But there is a possibility that these students will take work keys, which is an assessment also developed by the American College Board that test work employability skills. And if the student achieves perhaps a silver level, because this is still in discussion, whatever score is higher may be the score that accounts for the accountability program at the high school level. Some of the possible Jump Start pathways that are offered at Chalmette but must be regionally improved include NCCER carpentry, both levels 1 and 2. And when you look at the different levels, for example, if the student enrolls in all of the coursework but doesn't get the credential, they would get the career diploma, which brings the school itself in the accountability program about 100 points. If you look back up, I have that referenced at the end of the 3rd paragraph. However, if they're able to achieve a credential like the NCCER 1, they would get the 110 points. But the NCCER 2 level would possibly bring the school 150 points for that particular credential or advanced credential that the student would secure prior to leaving high school through our partnership with the region, technical schools, apprentice schools, or at Chalmette High. We can do the NCCER 1 and 2 with some additional prep. ProStart, which is a culinary arts program, is currently offered at Chalmette. The CompTIA A+ computer repair is possibly there. And we're also looking on the drawing board at film and theater tech, because we have that beautiful facility and our students are involved in the technical behind-the-scenes work there. Internet web design, CompTIA network. And then as we begin our conversations with Nunez, and we have a meeting again on Friday on this topic with them, the certified nursing assistant, the LPN, the EMT, the NCCER electrical, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and drafting. So those are some things right at the very infancy of our move toward the career diploma that we can begin to look at as possible career opportunity pathways for our students, knowing that as we work with this, as we approach 2017, 2018, that we will have many, many more ideas as the regional partnership works on developing these pathways and many more opportunities for our students. So it's just in its infancy. We do have a pilot underway. You're going to be reading more in the paper about Jump Start and the new career diploma, and we wanted to make sure that the board at least had a heads up as to the direction in which we were moving and the things the state were asking us to do that are a little bit different from what we've been doing over the past years.
Thank you, Ms. Larson. Are there any questions? Mr. Long?
Ms. Larson, so this won't start until 2017?
Well, what can happen, for example, our students with P-TECH right now that are in the pilot program, if we can get a career pathway approved and the WIC signs off on it, the region signs off on it, the state signs off on it, we can begin that pathway as soon as tomorrow if we're ready to go with it. So we hope once our students, we define these pathways and our students enroll and we get them these credentials, that we will be far ahead of that 2017-18 deadline. We hope to be able to do that within the next year or two.
So it's not likely that this is not going to be approved by the state?
I think if we have something that all of those partners sign off on and we can demonstrate a need in this region for those types of employees, it will be approved.
And Mr. Long, the 2017-18 year is the graduation year. So this coming year,
Right.
freshmen will begin under this. So they'll enter in the fall of 2014, in May of 2015, they're freshmen, 16 sophomores, 17 juniors. That's the graduating class of 2018, where this has to be fully implemented. So this coming year's freshmen, we're making changes. We've met with Mr. Warner and his staff in terms of scheduling for next year's freshmen to meet the common parts of both the career diploma and the Core 4, so that kids, when they begin their first year, will have then the ability to choose pathways and not be penalized, so that all of their freshman courses will be in alignment with either pathway that they would choose.
That leads into my next question. They would have to make the decision when they're freshmen?
No.
No?
No.
That's why what we're trying to do for the freshman class, it's just like when you go to college and the first year you take the general courses,
Right.
so that you can begin to branch off into your majors. What we have done is look at the freshman schedule to make sure that everything we're scheduling them into will satisfy either pathway. So as they become a little bit older and then begin to branch out and make choices, then they won't be penalized and not have the necessary courses that they need to be successful in either way.
So they may not have to make that decision till their
Till their sophomore or junior
Sophomore,
year.
Right.
junior year.
Because really, the first 2 years, it's the first year for sure is not going to be an issue, because they'll be taking everything that'll satisfy either one. When they get to year number 2, their sophomore year, then they begin to start saying, well, I think this might be a little bit more for me. But most of what they're taking will still be the basic core that everyone is going to do. Then they'll begin to branch out, and we'll make them a little bit more career ready. But like Ms. Larson said, if, for example, we have those kids currently in school with us, and we can develop a pathway to pilot more quickly, we could put it in effect for some of the kids beginning this coming year. So if you look at the top, we have Career Diploma Basic and Core 4. Those are still going to be in effect for another 3 to 4 years. But we can switch them over and implement with a portion, some of the kids, more quickly if we have the interest from the students and the partnerships worked out with the partnering agencies. And that's why we've already met with Nunez a couple of times on this. We have another meeting Friday to kind of nail down some of the pathways that we're discussing with them. And the kids that Bev is talking about in this pilot, we're taking 8 who will be entering their junior year this coming year. And we're hoping to get them, by the time they graduate, not only their high school diploma, but an associate degree in process technology as well. So they'll exit in 4 years with both credentials. And then we're going to step back. Some kids can handle that. Other kids may take portions of it and get some stackable credentials, but may not get a full associate degree or even a technical diploma.
Sounds like a great program, and it's nice to have a facility like Nunez.
Oh, we're very
in our community.
fortunate to have Nunez Community
this,
College right here with us in St. Bernard Parish, where we have so much
cooperation.
more, and their cooperation. I mean, Dr.
Right.
Warner and his staff have been absolutely wonderful, as they always are. And in many communities across Louisiana, they don't have something like this close. They're busing kids far and far, especially if you're in the rural areas and you're not close to one of the technical schools or community colleges.
Okay, thank you.
And if I may mention also in the examples that are given on the 4th page, because we're on block, even our students who are pursuing the Core 4, and heading to college with the top scholarship behind them still have enough room in their schedules, if they plan their electives correctly, to get these credentials also from the community college. For example, this young man in the example here is coming out with some computer certification. And that would make a great part-time job for a student who's trying to work his way through school, or even a full-time job in school part-time, depending on his financial situation. So it doesn't prohibit the college-bound student from pursuing this also, especially since we're on block. It helps them build those electives into their schedules.
Great, sounds great, thank you.
Dr. Kraft?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Dyson. Yeah, Ms. Larson, yeah, I like that you can go over in another area, because sometimes if you've got a college track, it might be something that you want as a hobby, and you take something over in the technical program. And this is why we need to be interested in expanding the technical programs at Nunez, because my concept of a community college should be a comprehensive community college, one that will take the academic track and prepare them to move into the senior level of the academics. And also, and many times with the technical, this is post-secondary, and this will end at that point, and they will be job ready. So you're right that when you have 32 slots for a 4-year degree, then you can take those things of interest and also have a solid background when you leave Chalmette High, so to speak. So this does sound good. Do we have in this program, when they work with Nunez, that they also would like working within individuals and out in business and industry, like drafting or about air conditioning? They would go out within the field there and get some hands-on experience, and of course Nunez would oversee this. Is that the plan?
And we also can give high school credit toward graduation for career internships.
Okay,
and that's
internship.
why there's another purpose of bringing the trade unions and business and industry to the
Right.
table as we talk about these things, so that some of those internships do become available to our students.
You're right, like plumbing and electrical. And,
Yes, sir.
And that's very important. This is a long time in coming, and of course we should promote this, because everyone's not going in the same direction, and everyone does not have the same interest. So we need to have something for our young people as they transition from high school into the world of work. So I like this, and I think we on the right track. Thank you for your research on this and bringing us up to speed.
Okay, anyone else? I just wanted to thank you, Ms. Larson, for your presentation. I just want to share with the board and with the superintendent and with you also, Ms. Larson, a success story that I just heard the other day. We have been having, Penn Theater, Penn TV, Barry Lemoyne and Jack Jackson back there, and they had this internship program where they let the students film and, intern with them. Well, the success story that I heard from a mother of a graduate of Chalmette High School is that now her son is working with one of the local television stations, and he's working his way up to being one of the editors. So he's really worked his way up, and they love him over there, and they said that he had a very good background in what he does. So kudos to Penn TV and to the program that we had prior to the Career Pathways. So
We've had a relationship with Nunez and in-house doing those things for many, many years, as I'm sure the board members are aware. Graduating students with CNA credentials or
We've done that
the
for many
editing
years.
capabilities. So we really are almost jump-starting our program 3 or 4 years before this came out.
okay, and also it sounds like a great program that and our students even have more choices, but it's not going to stop those students who would continue to take the advanced placement courses or the college prep courses, right, Ms. Larson?
Yes, ma'am.
They still have that
They
ability?
still have that opportunity, and with
opportunity.
their electives can pursue the career opportunities.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Ms.
You
Ote?
know, I think hopefully we'll get to a much more balanced approach. If those of you who have been around for quite a number of years, as I have, as well as many of the faces around this board, remember the days when we used to have our own trade school, our own VOTEC school, before Nunez was created as Nunez Community College. And Frank Otterer he was telling me a story when he was having surgery done, that the oral surgeon who performed surgery on him was a graduate of Shellman High School and went through our vocational school in a hands-on way. And then, because he was very interested in that, but then went on to college and then obviously much more advanced, med school and such, to be able to acquire those skills as well. So we have many young people that have talents in many areas. For a while, the vocational education or career technical education was frowned upon then and looked down on. And I know Mr. England for years has said, what about putting some of this back into our curriculum? And what had happened was the state had done that about face, to where every child needs the complete college prep program without much deviation. So the requirements were such that there was very little room in a schedule for a child to avail themselves. So now, really at the insistence of business and industry, this is coming about. Even the community colleges are getting grants from the state to have these rapid response courses, because business and industry are crying for skilled workers. So they're having to change their curriculum to put out graduates from the technical school, maybe that not necessarily, they don't even have associate degrees, but they have technical competency certificates in certain areas to prepare to move into those fields. So the demand is so high. So coming then down to the high school level, what we're doing is we're seeing now a more balanced approach to say that kids can move in their areas of interest. It doesn't stop them from pursuing or going to a four-year college, but it gives them an opportunity to develop skills that they may wish maybe to enter the workforce with skills that will get them a high wage job, not a minimum wage job. So they're coming in with a technical skill. But they can do both, as we said, with those 32 slots in a four-year program that we have. And I think this is a really, it's a good blend and a good mix if we can get this done, because every child needs the basics. So when they're going through their first 2 years, they're all pursuing courses that will get them college and career ready. And then they're beginning to make some of those decisions as to what their interests, where their interests lie. The one area that I'm trying to keep, you know how they say keep the state honest on, is our special needs kids. You know, they get left out of everything in terms of educational progress. Not from us, because we do a tremendous job. I mean, our special educators are just wonderful with our children. But in terms of opportunities, as these pathways were developed, they were left out. Like, what are we going to do for our non-diploma kids? What do we do with our kids with significant disabilities? Well, in meeting with John White and his staff, it says, well, we're going to form a working group. So I keep pushing and pushing. So I think I may be on this little working group that is trying to develop a pathway for these children who are not necessarily going to get one of these types of diplomas, that there will be something, because they're going to go out in the working world, and they've got to be able to contribute and develop the skills that they have into something that they can hold a job out there in some way. So just remember that even though we'll have these two, we are pushing heavily a pathway for our children, our special needs children as well.
Thank you, Ms. Voce. We're glad you will be on that committee, that working committee. We know a lot will get done.
I think so, unless he gets mad at me again between now and then.
Okay. We hope you're there.
That's the way it works.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Fata?
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. And just to add on, I know, Ms. Larson, you have a list down here of the certified nursing program, the LPN program, the EMT and all, but I noticed that Nunez has added a couple of new programs.
Right.
The hotel, restaurant, tourism, and the business
That's on the agenda
administration.
for tomorrow.
That's on Friday's agenda
That's
meeting.
Friday, yeah,
Friday's
that's what I was
agenda.
going to say.
Yeah.
And an entrepreneurial one, but I'm thinking the hotel, restaurant, and tourism is one we can probably get on this list because of the heavy tourism economic engine in this metropolitan area. So that would be another branch that we could add onto this for our students to follow.
You see, one of the difficulties in developing this, because this is sort of like wide open, there are state-approved career pathways that have exiting credentials. So it's mostly the trades, like carpentry, electricity, HVAC, because welding, that there are, you can take the NCCER, the AWS credentialing tests, and you exit with a credential. And these are already lined up state-approved. In different areas of the state, there's different demands. In this area of the state, we would have a greater demand maybe for hospital and hotel tourism and such than maybe a small rural area of the state where you don't have that big a demand. So they're going to approve these regional pathways. And because of the way they've structured this, it's got to be in partnership with the WIC, the Workforce Investment Council, and that group is going to have to work with us and regionally approve these pathways that we want to propose to the state, which are not necessarily statewide. But the problem that's coming in is as you develop the coursework, we've got to go out and research what would be some type of an exiting credential that some approved group or agency would be able to do, a test that the kids could take, or something that they would have to demonstrate competency in through some oversight group. So that's where the hang-ups are, and this is what we're trying to work through, both regionally and at the state level. So they're not satisfied with just a set of courses. They must take some type of an exiting credential. And that's, in some pathways, that's difficult to find.
Yeah, but it would be very beneficial if somehow they can develop an exiting credential for this, because since that is a major industry in this
Absolutely.
area.
Right.
And it must be something that's viable, because I know that
Right. So
the
even our
community colleges have
even our
added it on.
non-diploma kids, when we're looking at
Right.
our special needs kids, we could develop pathways in the hospitality industry or the culinary arts industry, some of those that may not be as technical in nature, that these kids could fit into one of the jobs in that area, which for them would be, say, a high wage earning for them.
Right.
You
And
know?
it's really important, as you said, Ms. Voce, that because the state kind of tends to leave them out,
Yes, they
that
do.
we do develop, all the school districts develop something, because all school districts have these children in their
Communities,
systems, and some are, a little easier at the higher functioning end, and some are not. And those at the higher functioning end, they want to go out, they want to make a living, they want to do the same things in society that everybody else does. But right now, they're not being recognized to be able to do that. And so the state does need to, they put them in the testing, they put them in the schools, they put them against all your accountability, but then they don't come up
They
with
don't provide for them the way they should be provided.
Exactly. They don't give them, the opportunities that are there. They want to count them against you, but they don't want to give them their opportunities. So, yeah, it's about time that they do that. But thank you, Ms. Larson. This is going to be, I think, a very good pathway to go down now. I've kind of seen, too, like Mr. England said, we went so far the other way. The pendulum swung so far the other way that we left a lot of students out that maybe weren't interested in four-year college, or maybe not immediately interested in four-year college. And I think now we're coming back, and it's going to help,
Okay.
the industries greatly.
Okay, anyone else? Nope. Thank you again, Ms.
Thank
Lawson.
you.
We appreciate it. Next item is an executive item. Mr. England?
Number 6 and 7 there, Mr. England.
Thank you. It's nice on Dr. Kraft. Turn my mic on. Review for performance contracts. Mr. Granberry.
Good evening, good evening.
evening.
That is our list of performance contracts. I'm sure you've been updated on them by Ms. Fauché, and
Right, and we had sent the list out to you of the 27 individuals who are our administrators. We have about half each year, as you
Right.
know. And I'm recommending that we renew all of the contracts for the 27 administrators listed
Okay.
on the page.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. Ms. Dysart?
Yes, Mr. England, at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we accept all the performance contracts for 7/1/2014 through 6/30/2016. And each and every one of these individuals, we're very blessed to have on our staff, and it's with pleasure that I make that recommendation.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Dysart, second by Mr. Warner. Any questions for Mr. Granberry?
Just briefly.
Mr. Long?
Just like to say, this is an impressive list of administrators that's been with us a lot of years, and it'd be interesting, Mr. Granberry, if we knew how many years of experience all these people have. It's probably really adds up.
I don't know if I can count that high.
Somewhere around 2 million. Oh, no, that's ours.
But we are fortunate in our school system to have such dedicated and really qualified people to run our administration. And that's a credit to Ms. Fauché for selecting these people and putting them in the right position to do a fantastic job. But,
Well, I think
Thank
the
you.
leader on that list, the highest number would be number 25 there.
right.
Seated 25. Oh,
I know who you're talking
Mr.
about.
Warner.
Mr.
Mr.
Warner.
Warner.
Right.
He's been around a long time. you know.
Right.
With those years of experience and everything, it just goes to show you, that's the reason why we are a school district right now, because.
Well, I know of 3 people on that list that have 43 years' experience, and they're not as high as Warner. That's Ms. Fauché, Paul Granberry, and Jack Serenay. And Cookie has maybe
Yeah.
44 or
Yeah.
43. Yeah, so
Dedication is
we're
unbelievable.
talking a lot of time there.
we're very experienced.
Very experienced,
But we're blessed to have these people.
very mature, not old, mature. Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
We'll go to item number 7.
Yeah, you take
Oh, you
that.
want me to take that?
Still
Okay.
executive.
All right. This personnel changes for February 2014.
Not a lot, just a couple of things going on.
It's always good when it's
Yeah, this is very small.
Need a motion?
No.
No.
This is just information only
only.
right now.
Joe Major will take Arthur Miller's place. Arthur Miller's retiring at the end of this month, and Joe's going to take his place. We went through the interview process, and Mr. Alonso selected.
Yeah. Well, Arthur's going to be really missed.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Joe will do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Joe's
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
can tell you
I-
one
I'm
thing
sure
that,
he will.
no, Joe Major, he's a wonderful replacement, and Miss Bailey from Smith Elementary is not happy with us for taking him away from her school. But it's well-deserved.
keep it rolling.
Well, congratulations to Mr. Majors. Okay, we'll go on to item number 8. Mr. Nicosia, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, Mr. England. Agenda item number 8, request permission to advertise for milk and milk products for the period July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015. Ms. Bloom?
Good evening. We have a year bid for our milk and milk products for our cafeterias.
Mr. Nicholson, I move we grant them this request. Second.
Okay, I have a recommendation by Dr. Kraft, a second by Dr. Lewis. Any questions, comments? If none, please vote your machine.
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Agenda item number 9, request permission to advertise for bread and bread products for the period July 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2015.
Good evening. I do have to make a change on that. This was printed incorrectly, number 9. The actual time is July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2015. So it's a year. It's not a year and a half.
Okay.
June the 30th.
So that has to be changed. Right. Right, the agenda's wrong.
Just editorial.
The paper I gave you is correct, and the
Okay.
advertisement is correct. Okay. This is a yearly bid for our bread and bread products for our cafeterias.
Okay, I have a recommendation. Okay, a recommendation from Mr. Campbell, second from Mr. Fatta. Any questions or comments? Being none, would you please vote your machine?
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10, permission to advertise for spices and seasonings, Class 2, cereal, dried beans, and crackers, Class 3, frozen foods, Class 5, meat and meat products, Class 6, poultry and eggs, Class 7, seafood products, Class 8, and canned goods for the period July 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014.
Thank you. This is a 6-month bid for our food products that we buy for our cafeterias.
Second.
Okay, I have a recommendation from Dr. Kraft, a second from Mr. Long. Ms. Dysart?
Thank you, Mr. Nikoshin. Ms. Bloom, thank you. It's not on the actual bid itself, but it's on the cafeteria management and the cafeteria work that all of our ladies, that you and all the ladies do in our cafeterias. Last week was the shadowing week, and many of the board members, including myself, were able to shadow with the cafeteria ladies and serve lunches at school. And it was, I just want to commend you, as we do, Ms. Bloom, always, but you and the cafeteria management and all of the cafeteria ladies, they do an awesome job. We always knew that, but working behind the scenes and seeing them, how hard they work, and everything is just in so tip-top shape, and they just go at it continually and, you know, make our students as happy as can be, and the teachers, and they just do a great job. So it was, thank you very much for arranging that, and we appreciate, again, all the hard work that all of you do.
Thank you. We're glad you had the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Being none, would everyone please vote the machine?
Motion passes 11-0.
Thank you, Ms. Bloom.
Yes. Mr. England?
Yeah, I'd like to have a point of privilege, please. A couple of weeks ago, we had a major winter storm that hit St. Bernard Parish. But they had major accidents on the Green Bridge. And then with these accidents, they had like 20-something automobiles, I believe, and these people were stuck on the Green Bridge for quite a few hours. But let me just let the public know, and for everybody's information, our bus drivers was requested to come out their house, out their homes, and go to the Green Bridge and help these people get off the bridge. And my hat goes off to our bus drivers, because this is exceptional work on their part.
And as you said, Mr. England, it just shows the cooperation among the agencies here in St. Bernard Parish. Because even though the accident occurred and the responders were supposed to be from Orleans Parish, it was our sheriff's department and deputies who were out there. They made the call to us because these people were stranded on that bridge in that freezing cold with no place to go, waiting either for medical attention or families to pick them up. So we, at the request of the fire department, actually sent, or maybe the sheriff's department as well, sent a couple of buses over there just so that people could come in out of the cold and be in a place, and they were extremely thankful, and I think we could arrive in 10 minutes while everyone was sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for personnel from other districts and parishes to arrive. And I think that really shows the cooperation among the public agencies here in St. Bernard Parish, as well as what you said, our bus drivers who are always ready to respond, and Dr. Gonzalez, who, immediately took care of it and then just called me to inform me she had taken care of it. So, I mean, it was
But I thought it was
very
good
well done
cooperation,
and
right.
quickly done.
Right, I thought it was fantastic when we applied.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for that.
thank
I'm
you.
sure they
Right.
appreciate
Right.
those words.
And also, I'd like to bring up too, the Chalmers. With the Chalmers. The Chalmers, congratulations to the Chalmers, because they state champions.
Yeah.
But they're raising the bar now. So next year, they're going to have to go back there again and get it again. So we really appreciate it. They did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. England. Any other comments from the board while you got a change here? We'll go to superintendent's recommendation next.
Tonight, I really have nothing else to add to the agenda.
Okay.
Dr. Kraft, I'm fine.
Thank you, Ms. Fauche.
We adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Yes. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
One
well,
other
when we're doing recognitions, and sometimes, I guess we, as administrations, we're not, we don't have public relations per se, and there's so many wonderful things that so many of our schools do, our teachers and our staffs, and Davies Elementary was named a National Title I School of Distinction. And there were only 2 schools in the state of Louisiana which were recognized, and they were one of them. And they'll be recognized at the national conference very, very soon. So it's, kudos to Ms. Schultz, the principal at Davies Elementary, and Ms. Glapion, her assistant principal, and the entire staff, and the parental support that we get from the entire Davies community. So I think we did put it in the newspaper, and hopefully people had a chance to read about it. But I think it could have been just about any one of our elementary schools which would have been chosen, because if you would have seen the improvement in the test results and such from each of our elementary schools, they all did exceptionally well. But Davies was recognized as the entire package at the national level. So we're very fortunate to have that distinction. And we just got a call one day and saying that it occurred. So to be perfectly honest, we have
great.
no idea who nominated them or how it occurred, but the State Department called us and told us that they had been selected.
Congratulations to Joe Davies Elementary. We have great schools, and that's a much well-deserved recognition, and we appreciate that. That makes all the board members feel well when our schools are recognized at a state or a national level. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Campbell.
Again.
Again.
We're ready.
Move adjourned. Ms. Aceveda? No, Mr. Fada? All right, we stand adjourned. Have a good night.